Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Lives, where I highlight inspirational stories of midlife transformations. Today's guest is Kim Fleming Matthews, who shares very candidly her story of fear that rapidly morphed into courage and positivity despite a very serious cancer diagnosis. She describes why she deliberately avoided mammograms, and then the serendipitous moment a new friend literally saved her life. Kim's refusal to let any negativity seep into her life and her take charge approach to her treatment process are great lessons all of us need to hear.
Hello, I am so excited today because I have a special guest, and I'm always excited about my guests, but this one in particular is special because we have known each other since 1979, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were college roomies, and we still hang out today because she's cool. So,
Yeah.
but we actually, Kim is a little bit younger than me because the story is that I had roommates, and then we were 2 years in, and here comes Kim, and we were rushing the same sorority. And we just took a liking. My roommates and I took a liking to Kim, and we liked her so much that we converted our dining room into a bedroom.
I know. Do you remember that? How crazy.
Yeah.
I was so happy to be in that dining room and have a bed and a dresser, and it was all good.
And I think the door was we had these guy friends, and they built us this wall. Right. But you had a curtain for a door. So it wasn't that private, but it was, we knew each other.
Worked.
Yeah. So anyways, Kim is here, and, we were actually just recently together, and she lives in Florida. She's a realtor in the Orlando area. So if you're looking for a good realtor, but we were together with another roommate recently, and I was just filling them in on my new show. And Kim has a really great story. And she said, hey, I'd like to be, and I'm so glad you said something, Kim, because I didn't think of it. And I think that what you have to share today is going to be so inspiring to so many people who need to hear your message. So Kim, and I'll just touch a little bit and then turn it over to her. But Kim was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she was 52.
Yep.
Yeah.
52.
7 years ago.
7 years.
And one of the things, Kim's always been a really, really strong woman, and I've always admired her for that. She was actually the president of her sorority, and she moved to Florida. The sorority actually paid her to go help a struggling sorority down there, and she got her master's degree, and she's always been an amazing business person. But this was, a different kind of a struggle. And she has come through it with flying colors, and she's clean, and she just, I don't know, do you do much public speaking about it?
I don't. I went back and referred to some notes to a speech that I did for a Brighton kickoff a couple years ago, but I really don't. That's kind of when we saw each other, I thought, this might be a good platform for me to talk about it, because the timing is right for Breast Cancer Awareness Month to discuss it and, to inspire people to go get mammograms.
Yes. So I want you to start from,
yes,
because you were one of those people that was avoiding getting a mammogram.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So start with that story.
Okay. So thank you, Lori, for having me.
Yeah.
And, so basically, when I was just to give you a little background, when I was in my early 30s, I had been diagnosed with a fibroid adenoma in my left breast, which is a benign tumor. And I did have it surgically removed. Mm-hmm. Well, starting from that point on, it was a false positive read for me, in the sense that it wasn't breast cancer, thank God. Mm-hmm. But I became very scared and fearful of going to get another mammogram. So I did
Why?
not.
Why? What was the
Well,
reason?
I was afraid that I would get it. It was almost like I was so scared that I had it.
Go, it won't happen.
Well, I just thought I would get it. I just was fearful of the actual test, and I just put my head in the sand, and I didn't want to face it. It was just fear-based more than anything, not just, but it was a big thing. And so then life goes on. Fast forward 20 years, and we had moved to a lakefront home that naturally had a lot of bugs, insects, and I got 3 bug bites on my right breast. Started scratching them, and I felt a hard mass underneath the bug bites. And I felt the left breast, and it was normal. So you can kind of do your own little self-test check. If you feel something strange on one side, check the other side. So I again put my head in the sand, and I was afraid, and it was just really ridiculous, but I was. And so until I met a new friend in the neighborhood, and she liked to shop, she liked to go have lunch, and she said, "Hey, I haven't had my mammogram. Do you want to go, and then we'll go have coffee, lunch, afterwards, go shopping?" So I looked at her, and it was just so bizarre because I knew I needed to go have one. And she said, what time would you like? 9:45 or 10:45? She didn't even give me a choice. So lo and behold, enters my friend Carrie, who we went and had the test done. Hers was fine, but mine wasn't. So I went back for a bunch of tests, diagnostic tests, and also a biopsy. And on November 1st, I got the call from the doctor, and she said I had stage 2 breast cancer.
And so what was your mental state? I mean, were you like, I knew it was going to happen?
Yeah, it was almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It was, but again, I was in shock.
I bet.
It's just, I wasn't really wanting to embrace it at that point. I was kind of numb. It was just
kind of surreal, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while. It took me 2 months to get to surgery because it was recommended that I have a mastectomy. Well, one breast removed, and I chose to have both. So to me, it was just it was better for me. So, but along the way, I had a team of doctors that were very supportive, encouraging, and to the point that my surgeon called me and said, "You need to get on the schedule," because I was kind of still running away from it. It was still just so fearful. So then that's when I met Dr. Michael. I ended up going to a metaphysical doctor who helped me embrace it, just embrace the decision to have chemo, to have the surgery, not in that order necessarily, but there was a whole protocol of treatment that I was faced with for the next 9 months. And so I needed to get my mind right to basically fight the disease and to be strong and to be positive.
Yeah. So let me interject here. Just knowing what I know about Kim, you've always been so, for lack of a better word, coachable. You've always been so open to listening and exploring. Because I remember back in college when you didn't know what you wanted to do for a degree, and I had this idea, and I said, "Kim, you could do this," and you were like, "Oh, let me research that. Let me look into it." And so I can imagine that you wanted to get to the bottom of how you could beat this, and you wanted to research it. But I love the fact, and I think the message for the audience is you need to be open, and you need to. And I just remember you explaining this to me, and how your mindset played such a big role, I think, in you conquering it.
Yeah. And it really does, because I'll tell you, at the same time, someone connected me to someone that had just gotten diagnosed, and we became friends on Facebook. And I had to unfriend her because she was so negative.
Oh,
And
wow.
she was so like self-pity.
Yeah.
And I had nothing. I wanted nothing to do with that. This was about just embracing what was going on with me, making a decision that I was going to beat it. And I was going to do whatever I could to do the traditional protocol. And I did add acupuncture, and I did add Dr. Michael in to this scenario.
Mm-hmm. And did those kind of therapies, did they come just from exploring, talking to people?
Talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just talking, because I had a really good friend of mine who was also diagnosed. She helped me. It was like I just got surrounded with support people and information and doctors that really cared.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped me move forward and to embrace it all, because I never wanted to embrace it.
Yeah.
And that was a problem.
Yeah. Well, and I think sometimes they say that when you take that as like a lesson that needs to be learned, like this is what I'm supposed to, is this
right
that I'm supposed to live? What is my purpose for going through this?
Yes.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Now, I try to remember you telling me that when you were actually getting chemo treatments, that you did that stuff.
Yes. Well, I will tell you, I did the mindset stuff before chemo.
Oh, okay.
Because basically I had the double mastectomy. Mm-hmm. And then like a month later, I had an axillary node dissection. And then they found that it had spread to the lymph nodes. Mm. So once we knew that I needed to have chemo. They had to take out 11 lymph nodes, and my staging increased. Mm-hmm. So I was in stage 3 breast cancer.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. So I caught it just in time. Mm. I will tell you, it was a slow growing, but it was an invasive cancer. I was lucky that it was slow growing, because I didn't have the aggressive one that, it was slow growing. It had been growing. One of my doctors said for probably 10 years.
Wow.
So, and remember, I didn't have a breast story. So this is my message, is that you need to get the mammogram. You need to get the baseline. You need to continuing getting it every year. And your doctor might tell you even more than that. But the bottom line is, you have to know what's going on with your breasts. They change as we age, as we go through menopause. And so I didn't know my breast story. So all of a sudden, I've got stage 3 breast cancer, because I had not done any diagnostic testing to know myself, to know my body, to know.
So you didn't have like a history of film.
No, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and that's so important, because doctors will see a change in like a dense breast that might have something going on, and they'll just watch it and they can catch it. So both of my cousins had stage 0 and stage 1 breast cancer, and I did not carry the BRCA gene. Mm-hmm. So all of this, I know this is kind of like technical stuff, but the bottom line is, get the mammogram and get it yearly, and know your breast story. Mm-hmm. And then the second point is to make sure if you're afraid, which is so normal to be afraid to get a mammogram, get an accountability partner. Mm-hmm. Carrie did not know she was my accountability partner. She's the one that just came out of the blue, walking down the street, introduced herself. I was new in the neighborhood. And before you know it, we're going to have lunch and have mammograms. I don't even know this person. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of one of those, angel things, I think. But
I have a better suggestion.
Yes, go for it.
So be a Carrie.
Yes.
So if you're getting your mammograms and you know a friend who isn't, don't just tell her to get it. like make an appointment and say, we're going at this time. Are you know,
Yes.
I'll eat a lunch, you know?
Yes. I'm
See-
telling you, Lori, and this is what my message to everyone that's going to be watching is do that today, this month. And I did it last year with a friend of mine, and she has it in her family, and I just called her, I text her, and she found a scholarship here locally there that they paid for her mammogram. There's certain, right now is the month in my city, they're $30 for a mammogram with Advent Health.
Mhm.
So you can find promotions right now that make it very reasonable to have a mammogram.
Mhm.
If you don't have insurance or, it's just
Yeah.
good thing to look for.
I bet you remember that day. It's like a birthday, like it's a
Yes.
day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
November 1st was the day that I got the phone call.
Right.
And I was actually
Remember
out
the day
shopping.
you like got dragged off to get your mammogram? That's even more pivotal, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's just it's a big
Right
deal.
before the holidays, that's tough.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
Right before the holidays is
Yes.
tough. We're
Oh
coming
yeah.
up to the holidays, and so yeah.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
wait till after the holidays is that message, right?
Yeah, don't. Just get it done.
Mhm.
Use this month as a reminder, and also as an action plan. Just get it done. Bring a friend. Call a friend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now tell me about, because Kim has some children. She has a son who's still in high school and a daughter who she just graduated, right?
Yeah. Natalie.
Yeah, music artist. And so how did that, I mean, I'm sure that was very difficult for them. You get scared about your mom and
Oh yeah.
that. How did you handle that?
Well, I'll never forget that day when I did get, the call, and I had to tell Natalie, and she came home from school, and it was really, she was a 10th grader. She was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And she, in her mind, she thought I was going to die.
Mhm.
And she just collapsed to the floor and just cried. And seeing that, it gave me even more desire and just will and strength to know that I was going to be okay. I just told her right from right then, it'll be okay.
Right.
So she was my little buddy. So
Yeah.
she was my biggest cheerleader and supporter. And that's so important in this journey, to have people around you and your family members. And, Ryan was young, and I don't think that he really understood, until I started losing my hair, and, just was sick. It was a tough time.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I got through it, and it was, I just pushed and pushed, and I had a chemo buddy, and she would pick me up and she would take me, and I just got through it. I just kept on, I just knew it was going to be okay.
That's another thing too. I think belief and having that, just the mindset will heal you.
It will.
If you have, yes, your mind can heal. We have a friend, and his door neighbor is a doctor, a neuro doctor.
Yes.
And, he said, I've seen people come in with brain tumors that are terminal, and then they go away. And he goes, there's no, doctors are scientists.
Yes.
And they tend to think the woo-woo stuff's a little, out there and really not true. But he actually believes in it, because he said there's no science can explain that going away.
Yeah.
So there's something else at play there. And I truly believe that it's almost like that surrender thing,
Right.
You surrender, but you're surrendering because you just believe, and you believe that it all will be fine. And, and it sounds like you really had that mindset that helped you heal.
Yeah, for me, I had to really evaluate my life. I evaluated my life. I went very introspectively inside, and I just wanted to get rid of things that were toxic in my life. And so, in moving forward, I ended up doing that, and I just finalized a divorce. So for me, I'm just trying to choose who's in my life and who's in. Specifically for me, it was marriage. It was not working.
Yeah. Do you think if you hadn't had the breast cancer, you would still be married, or do you think that was inevitable? Or
I think it was the catalyst.
Yeah.
I think that it was the catalyst because
it was just taken longer to get divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have stuck around a little longer.
Right.
You evaluate, I'm sure.
You evaluate so many things.
Yeah.
And now, and just in reflection, I'm just so grateful. I'm just in it from I'm grateful for the little things, and I'm grateful, and when we talk about affirmations and positive things, and I try to focus on that. I know we've had discussions about different apps that work for us. Like I like Calm. You've tried Headspace. Yeah. I've really worked on a lot of things to try to keep center and stay healthy.
Yeah.
So it's the best thing this year was I met with my oncologist, and she put me on the yearly visit, the annual visit. So now I have an annual visit. I'm not on the biannual, so she's like, she just looked at me and she said, Kim, go live your life. Aww. And I just love that. I just, it's like,
being a doctor, being able to say that.
I know. Go live your life.
Yeah.
An oncologist.
Yeah. That's a good day for her.
Yeah.
That's great, Kim. So tell them about the book.
Yes. So the book is called I Am That I Am. Mm-hmm. And this was the doctor. His name is Dr. Richard Michael. And so he just is really he's a powerful writer. He was referred to me by coworkers. Mm-hmm. And so when I got the diagnosis, a friend of mine had been to him who had Lyme disease, and it really helped the meeting with him. And he's like a counselor as well as, he wrote this book, but he's all about mind-body connection. So he helped me to just get a strong mindset because I was going to have chemo, and he just wanted me to be strong and positive so that I could embrace what I was getting ready to go through.
Right.
So I Am That I Am. It's uncovering the truth of the mind, body, and spirit by Dr. Richard C. Michael, PhD.
So he just happened to be local.
He's local.
Oh, wow.
He's 5 minutes from me. Yeah. So I had, like a therapeutic sessions with him.
And how many of those did you have?
I had probably about 5 or 6 of them, all before the chemo, as a build up to the chemo. And I'm going to be honest with you. I sailed through the chemo. I did not have many issues.
That's great.
So I just attribute a lot of the mind and the mindset.
Yes.
And to being successful with what I went through.
Right.
Yeah. So
what do you do differently today than you did maybe pre-cancer diagnosis?
Well, the biggest thing is I put myself first. I think that you have to, and I like to spend more positive energy and positive time with people that are positive, that are not negative. I mean, I think that was my problem, is I was married to someone that was negative, and that didn't work for me in the end.
Yeah.
And, I'm doing things like I love to craft, and I just started in a community garden. I'm doing things
I love that. Yeah.
which I've never done. I'm not a person that and I'm just excited to try something different and new.
Mm-hmm.
And, I do work in full time, so I keep myself busy with that. And Ryan's finishing up high school, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting ready to enter a new decade in your next birthday. You still got another 50s, but
yeah,
I just think, the message you have too is like you're just starting a brand new life almost.
Yeah,
it's
true.
And it's something to be excited about.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, it's almost like you're free and you're healthy and and I love that you're doing all these things. I love that fact that you're grateful about everything, because I think that I was I'm doing these videos online with different messages, and one of them was about gratitude. And you can't, when you're in a grateful headspace, you can't be in a negative headspace. They're opposing feelings.
Right.
And so the more gratitude that you have, the more positive you are, and the less negative you are. So I love that. And that's probably why we connected all those years ago.
I know. I'll never forget when you sat me down and you helped me figure out what my major was going to be. Do you remember? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Well, just for a little background. So Kim was a business major, and I tried that. And in the old days, I don't know if it's changed, but those classes are like, I mean, our perky selves could not sit in those business classes.
Oh no.
And so
a lot of math.
And now I love online business. I'll attend those, online courses all day long. But anyways, so she was really frustrated, and she didn't want to continue in her major. And I come from a family of teachers. Right. And I knew, and one of my favorite teachers was this teacher who was a fashion merchandising teacher. And she did fashion merchandising, but she took us on a trip to New York. But she did this, I forget what it was called, distributed ed. Yeah. So it's basically kind of like a little business school when in the high school. And so I knew that there was this kind of teacher that taught business stuff. And so I said, Kim, you should look into being, getting your teaching degree, but teaching something like that. And so that allowed you to at least graduate.
I know.
And then you got into sales. You became a badass salesperson.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. No, but too. I'm so grateful to you for sitting down with me, and we just went through the catalog. I'll never forget it. And I'm thinking, oh, this is unreal.
Yeah.
Just opened up my whole world actually to stay at Old Dominion and to finish,
Yeah. And then the sorority took you, and you got your master's in Florida, and then unfortunately you stayed in Florida. But another personal story is she lives in the Orlando area, and she lives right by a really great college.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. And I remember a couple of my friends from high school went to Rollins College.
Yeah.
And so when my oldest daughter was she was at that age, she was junior year, and it was spring. And I said, well, let's go see Kim.
Yes.
And little did I know, it was just an excuse to go see you.
Right.
Have a trip to Florida when it's cold in Virginia. And so we drove down there, and I remember you were like, oh, let's go over there. And Natalie was like 2 years old. I just remember walking through the fountains.
Yes.
We stopped at Starbucks, and we went over to Rollins, and oh my gosh, she felt first love.
Right.
And so she ended up going to school there. And if you didn't live there, we would have never gone there.
Yes.
Then
I love it. I loved it.
Yeah. And it was
great
because I got to see you.
Yeah.
Go down and visit Nikki, and then I'd visit Kim. So yeah, it was that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was great. It was great.
So you should speak more. You should do some more public speaking.
Yeah.
You got to think about what what you had that journey.
Yes.
And maybe part of it was to, extract you from your marriage sooner.
Yep.
But I think you have more to give. So, because I think that message of positivity is something that a lot of people don't talk about. We think, we need to get all these drugs, and the doctors prescribe drugs, but doctors don't teach mindset.
Yeah.
Doctors don't care mindset. I mean, they're not trained to do that. So
right.
I love that you kind of found your way and it worked.
It did work. And that it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge in this.
So any last words?
Well, the last words is just, again, be someone else's angel, or their accountability partner. I want to challenge you to, after you've heard this, to be inspired to pick up the phone and check with your sister, check with your mother, check with your best friend, your aunt. Just make a phone call and ask them if they've scheduled their mammogram.
Yes. And I also ask that anybody who's watching this and still hanging with us, if they could share this, because I think it's really important to get the message out.
Yes.
Especially on Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Right.
And so, yeah. You're on Facebook, so if anybody wants to reach out to you.
Yes. Okay. Oh, and yes. And I welcome that. Yes. I welcome that. Yes. No, they can. I can be their accountability partner.
Yes. I love that. Every time I get my mammogram, I post that I got it, because
perfect. Yes.
I know that it's just going to remind somebody to do that. So we can all help people with that.
Absolutely. Thank
you,
Lori.
My friend Kim.
I love you.
Hang out. I'm just listening live, but all right. Thanks for those of you listening, and go get your mammogram.
Yes, absolutely.